Forward Movement as a production company different than most production companies? Is there something to be learned about your operation that would be useful and that distinguishes it from others?
I don't know if the production company is different. You know, I know our distribution company, a firm, is very different. But Forward Movement is really, I mean, it's different because it's headed by a black woman. I mean, there are many others, not a lot though. And you know, I'd love to see more active black women-led production companies. But yeah, I mean, you know, when you're moving lights and you know, putting lenses on cameras, production is production. So I don't think the way we do it is much different, except that you know, the director, the head of the company, likes to put a little lipstick on now and then. You know, certain things that the ladies do. So, but other than that, no. Yeah.
I read somewhere, and I think it was in the IU news release, that you're known as an independent, in independent film circles, as I quote here, a maverick businesswoman, _businesswoman. I assume they're referring to a firm, the African American Film Releasing Movement. What is this thing called a firm?
Yeah, it was an idea. You know, like I said, I didn't want to make a film and not know where it was going to land. I mean, that just didn't make sense to me as someone who had been in business before as a publicist. And knowing kind of what the options were for a film that I would make. Something probably very quiet, very, you know, very much dealing with the interior lives of black people. There wasn't an easy market for those. So knowing that that was the case, you know, I had to try to bridge the gap between, okay, what happens when I make it and how does it actually reach audience? I know that behind those doors, they won't have a lot of, you know, preliminary value in it until I show them value. And they may not understand it. And so, you know, it's hard to embrace something that you don't understand. That's just human. So I had to try to figure out how to bridge the gap. And in dealing with what I had, like I said, I had these relationships with these amazing black film festivals all around the country. You know, they're not the ones that you hear about in the papers. They're not Sundance or Toronto or Tribeca, but they're beautiful. You know, really, the sister here is wearing a shirt from one of my favorite black film festivals, Black Star Film Festival in Philadelphia. And there are these great places just led by these dynamic people in individual markets in these cities around the country. Seattle, the Langston Hughes African American Film Festival. They have their own building. It's led by these, you know, really dynamic sisters who have a background in theater and the arts, and they come together every year to show films from around the country. The Urban World Film Festival that was started by a former film executive, black man, who decided that there needed to be a place for multicultural films, so he started Urban World in New York. In Philadelphia, there's a brother named Mike Dennis, a filmmaker who wanted to carve a place for black film in Philadelphia, in his city. So he started the Real Black Film Series. So all of these amazing people around the country who I knew separately and who really didn't know each other. And so, one, it was like, wow, we're all interested in the same thing, you should know each other. And two, what are our concerns? And the main concerns were similar to the ones that I had as an aspiring filmmaker, which was, for them, we're showing these films and then they don't go anywhere. You know, you show them once and then, you know, it's horrible to send filmmakers away and not be able to help them reach wider audience. And so the idea was, if we all band together from all of these places around the country and work as one unit with one umbrella, we call ourselves a firm, what can we do together? Can we be stronger together than we are individually? And, you know, the answer is definitely yes. Our idea was to release films in these cities at the same time, or around the same time, with national publicity and marketing, which I would do from LA, and all of the films would fall under the name of firm. So instead of kind of individually traveling to all these places, it's one film, one entity that's releasing, it's one, you know, releasing entity that's releasing these films under one name. And by doing that, you create a distribution company. It was really just dissecting what distribution is and saying, how can we do what a studio does without being a studio, without having any money? You know, and we have elbow grease, we have connections. You know, all of these film festivals have mailing lists like crazy of people in their city who love film, who love black film, who've come before, who've bought tickets, right? So what we can't buy in a TV ad, well wait, we know exactly how to reach the people in Philadelphia who are interested in this, through their inbox, through their phone, what have you. What we can't do in, billboards, well, we have volunteers that we call our mavericks that actually, instead of reaching you through a billboard that you pass every day, can actually walk up to you and say, Michael, there's a great film playing here. I want to come pick you up at this time because we're going, and make sure that you have 3 people with you. So those are the kinds of things that we do, and that's how we're distributing these films without money. And the films are there, right? Many films that are worthy of being seen. It's just how do you get them to audiences? And so that's what Affirm is, this collaboration of all of these people interested in the same thing who just held hands and we make it happen.